Good day, Pool Player Nation. Whether it's morning for those of you on the West Coast, afternoon for those of you on the East Coast, or well into the evening for those all the way across the pond, it is a good day indeed as we're set to kick off this year's Mosconi Cup. Our industry insider, Mike Panozzo, is on the ground in London. He's joining us with a full report from Alexandra Palace. Mike, first off, have you recovered from the jet lag, and how are the fish and chips?
Well, the jet lag, it takes a while to get over, but I did get some decent sleep last night and walked around today in the fresh air, which is nice and brisk over here. And I did not have fish and chips. I went with the pot pie last night, which was excellent.
Oh,
Steak
nice.
and ale. Can never go wrong with that.
Maybe try the bangers and mash for breakfast over there tomorrow.
No, that I don't think I'll do yet.
Just stay away from my experiences in London, stay away from the cheeseburger. They have not figured out medium rare. The Brits have not figured that out yet. So
yeah, no, I go with what they make well and stick to that.
Nice. So, Mike, you're on the ground there at Alexandra Palace. Paint a picture for us of what's going on, what things look like there on the ground.
Anticipation. I mean, that's what it's all about when you get over here for Mosconi Cup before it starts. I talked to the players yesterday. I watched a little bit of the press conference, talked to the captains, talked to the film crew, the production crew for Matchroom. And you could, people were saying all the right things, but you could just hear in their voice, it's anticipation. They want, let's go, let's rack them, let's hit some balls. I'm ready to go. They get a little bit amped up, the nerves start kicking in, and you can kind of feel it when you were talking to the players yesterday and this morning.
I didn't have a chance to watch the entire press conference yesterday. I did catch some highlights, but seemed like the consensus is that, the press conference, which sometimes has a lot of fireworks, was a little more ho-hum yesterday. I'm not sure if that was, at Matchroom's kind of choosing, or, the players are more nervous, or what's your take on yesterday's press conference?
It was a little bit low-key for the normal Mosconi press conference. I know Jason Shaw was chomping at the bit to kind of, dig into Federer a little bit about, trading sides to the Americans and to get on Shane Wolford about being a rookie. But he didn't really get fed the questions from Emily Fraser that he normally gets fed. I think yesterday was mostly about Barry Hearn being here for the 30th anniversary kickoff and him talking about, Matchroom 9-ball tour and the buildup of not only this event, but of the tour for next year. So I think a lot of it was, let's keep the focus on Barry's message, which was great.
Nice. And I know you mentioned, the kind of the overall mood is in anticipation, one of anticipation for both the teams, as well as, all the folks behind the scenes running this year's Mosconi Cup. Curious if you've had a chance to talk to specifically Jeremy Jones or any of the members of Team USA, any last-minute thoughts or things that you were able to gather from them?
Well, again, you don't get much out of them at this point because you know that the nerves have set in and they just want to get going. I talked to Feder Gorst a little bit yesterday, and he talked about how big the arena was. I talked to Jeremy, and he talked about how excited he is to get going and how ready the team is and how he spent a lot of time with them over the last 10 days, learning how they're playing, learning who plays well with each other when it comes to doubles, things like that. I talked to Francisco Sanchez Ruiz and David Alcade this morning. They're just, they're all ready to go. They're like, let's, after today, they'll probably have a little more to say. But right now, it's just, they got so much nervous energy built up that they just want to get out there.
Yeah, some nervous anticipation. Having been there, I can understand. Even the fans feel it to a certain extent over there, no doubt about it.
100%.
So, I was looking over the schedule, Mike, a little bit different this year, and I think this is a change that Matchroom actually implemented last year, but instead of what had typically been 5 matches on day one, we're only going to see 4 matches today. And the other change coming this year for Matchroom is no Fans' Choice Award. What's your take on both of those changes? First off, the 4 matches on day one and the elimination of the Fans' Choice.
Yeah, I think they won. I haven't talked to Emily, but to me, it's not a bad move. The team match usually takes a little bit longer because everybody gets a chance to play, and 4 matches. That means that they get through 14 matches instead of 15 going into the last day, which also helps prevent losing the last day if it's a runaway for one team over the other, because they've had that problem before. So I think that there's a couple things at play there, and I think it works out just fine. I don't have a problem with it. As far as the Fans' Choice, Emily said, it's time to keep things professional and not let, fans just pick a one-sided match or, things like that. So that was her rationale for ditching the fans' choice, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, makes sense. So let's talk a little bit. Of course, the matchroom announced the team captain lineups for day one a little bit earlier today. First up, obviously, is the team match where all 5 players from each team will go at it. Each player will play a match against an opponent. Any idea yet what how the captains will roll out their horses in each of these in this team matchup by chance?
Yeah, for the team match, I don't have any idea. Sure that they'll start with one of their top players first. You want to make sure that the best players get a second chance if it goes to 4-4 or 5-5, 4-4. You want to make sure that your best players get a couple opportunities. So I would expect it to start off with probably Skylar, Shane, and Federer, and then have Shane Wolford and Tyler finish up after that. And then when it gets into round 2, you've got your heavy hitters back there.
Okay, be interesting to see how each of the captains deploys their team
Yeah.
there in the team match to start things off. Obviously, both teams are wanting to get off on the winning side of things. From there, we're going to see doubles play, and we're going to start with for Team Europe, Jason Shaw, Albin Ocean versus Shane Van Boening, Tyler Steyer. What's your take on that first doubles pairing?
Well, the pairings were, very similar to what Team Europe did last year, and it was pretty obvious. Everybody knew kind of going into today would be the Spanish duo playing together, uh, Filler playing singles, which would leave Albin and Jason playing doubles. So it just mattered which doubles team was going to go first and which was going to go the fourth match of the day. For the U.S., you knew that Skyler was going to play singles because you knew that it was going to be Filler. So you're going to put Skyler against Filler. Was really interesting how Jeremy came, and I didn't get a chance talking about how he came up with his double pairings in this, because that will lead to a lot of discussion after this first round is over.
Yeah, and as far as which team has the advantage in that doubles pairing, fairly evenly matched. You like one team or the other?
Yeah, I like the U.S. in that pairing. I like Shane coming out of the gate with Tyler. I think Shane has become very comfortable with Tyler as a teammate. Tyler's got a lot of confidence, so I think that's a pretty good pairing. Because if you had to pick one player on Team Europe that you're like, okay, I'm not 100% sure how he's going to play. At this point, it would be Albin. So I like that pairing. I like that matchup. I like the U.S.'s chance in that, and I like the U.S.'s chance in Skyler against Philip.
Yeah, so let's transition to the first singles matchup, as you just mentioned. Josh Filler, Sky Woodward, heavyweight battle right out of the gate for both these teams. What can you tell us about that matchup?
Well, it's kind of one of those, we knew what was coming. They knew what was coming. We knew what was coming. The players knew what was coming. So it's just, okay, let's get our top 2 guys out there and see who draws first blood. Skyler's got a great record against Josh, and we spoke with Ralph Eckert and on this show, and he said, he was going to talk to his players and see if there was any revenge factor that some of them wanted to take a shot at based on last year. So, if you broach any player with that topic, they're all going to say, "Yeah, give me another crack at him. I want." So, Filler wants Skyler, and Skyler loves going up against Filler. So it's going to be who's going to draw first blood in the big, heavyweight. Who's going to be the first heavyweight who doesn't get a point for his team?
Yeah, I think a lot of Team USA fans will look back fondly on 2019 in Las Vegas when Sky eliminated Team Europe by beating Josh Filler and
Yep.
grabbed the American flag, and the party was on. It was a special moment, and hopefully he can kick things off this year. So after the first singles matchup, we've got the Spanish duo of Francisco Sanchez Ruiz and David Alcade. They're taking on Team USA's newest addition, Feder Gorst and Shane Wolford, to cap off the day. What do you like there in that match, or how do you see that match shaping up, Mike?
That's a really interesting call to me. Obviously, everybody kind of anticipated that Ruiz and Alcade would pair up in today, one of the 2 doubles matches today. I was a little surprised at Jeremy picking both rookies, because Federer is essentially a rookie when it comes to a hostile crowd. Picking them paired together at the last match of the day, because there's They're going to each get one rack, maybe two racks in the team match. And in some of those racks, if the opponent breaks and runs out, you haven't hit a ball yet. So now you're keeping Shane Wolford until the fourth match of the day before he hits his first ball, possibly, or his second ball, depending on how the team match goes. And the same with Federer. And that's a lot of waiting to kind of have that nervous energy built up. Also, if things don't go really well in the first three matches, if you're down 2-1 or God forbid 3-0, and now you come out with Shane Wolford and Federer in that last match, that's a lot of heat on those two guys. So I was actually a little bit surprised to see that pairing this early in the tournament, and then to see it as the last match of the day of day one.
You give the advantage there in that match to Team Europe, you think?
Have to. They won the World Cup of Pool together. They know each other's games so well. They're very comfortable. Francisco got the rust or the dust off of having played his first Mosconi last year, so he's going to be more comfortable this year. So there's going to be a lot of pressure, no matter what the score is. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Federer and Shane Wolford.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about day one. I mean, when we did our preview show last week, Mike, here in the studio, we talked about the fact, I think you and I both agreed, that day one was really huge for Team USA, getting out to a good start, building that confidence for the newer players. Now that we're seeing only 4 matches on day one, makes it a little tougher to win day one. It's, obviously there's an opportunity there to split evenly, but what would you say as far as the keys to the first day, specifically for Team USA to have a good day, a positive day, and something we can consider a win?
You got to go out of there 2-2, and you really want to come out with the last match of the day, which Jeremy talked about when we spoke to him last week on BD Live. He said, I asked him what some of the keys were, and one of the things he mentioned was last match of each day, which is another reason I thought, man, really interesting that you're throwing these two guys out there as a double pairing on the last match of day one. He said, you like to go to get a good night's sleep. You get a better night's sleep when you win the last match of the day. You feel like you got some momentum. So even if they were down 3-0 and Federer and Shane Wolford won the last match of the day, they would feel, okay, we're only down by 2 matches in a race to 11. That's not a big deficit, right? But that, again, that's a lot of pressure to put on these guys in their first Mosconi Cup.
Yeah, and I'd imagine things are starting to pick up there at Alexandra Palace, only about 25 minutes away from the beginning of the 30th Mosconi Cup. Curious, are the fans filtering in? Is the noise level building? What do things look like there at Ali Pali?
Yeah, the doors opened and the floodgates, opened with it, and all the fans came pouring in. It's going to be a full tilt night in Alexandra Palace, which it always is, makes it such a great place to watch the event. They've got a full, arena in the round. This year they actually filled in all the seats on all 4 sides, so it's going to be a wild one. There you can see the arena there, and that center section that you see in the middle at the end here with those white tables. That's all couch seating, VIP type of seating. And then you get the rest of the stands around there. So it's going to be crowded and it's going to be loud, which is the way you want it. That's why, players get so geeked up to be here.
Yeah, it should be a full house. Did I hear 2,500 seats?
Yeah, 2,500. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity, how many American fans do you anticipate? I don't know if you've seen a lot. I know sometimes the family members and friends of the players will come over. It's always kind of a small contingent. How many U.S. fans are you seeing there?
I haven't really seen a lot other than players, families, and close friends. But it'll be, if it's a couple hundred, that's a pretty decent U.S. crowd.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully the couple hundred that are there can make a noise for a couple of thousand to help weigh things out there, because as we know, that crowd in Ali Pali is raucous, and they bring a big advantage to Team Europe. And of course, the better Team USA plays, the quieter it gets. So Mike, I know you were hoping to have Carl Boys pull in there. I don't know if he's there with you yet.
Yeah. No, he's not come through yet. So
okay.
maybe we can get him on here tomorrow.
Okay, great. So, Mike, we're going to let you wrap this up and let you get to your seat there and enjoy day one. Of course, we'll be tuning in here in the States and rooting Team USA on. We appreciate you joining us, and we will check in with you again tomorrow. Let's hope Team USA has a good day.
Look forward to it. I'll try to grab some interviews, get some reaction for tomorrow's show, and we'll see what day two brings.
Awesome, Mike. Appreciate it, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Thanks.